Uh, Question: most of the times I was doing my bedtime prayer, or say the 10th commandment, right after 9 p.m. prayer, and was going to bed after 10-15 minutes, or sometimes maybe after 30 or 45 minutes because of kids or sometimes due to phone calls, etc. The answer is regarding the nighttime prayer before going to bed, it is the spirit of the commandment rather than the period of the time spent on the prayer that is the criteria for evaluation. From that point, you will find yourself better evaluated. While attending to the needs of children or others at home and elsewhere, if you develop the attitude that Master himself is attending to them, the uh, state of prayer becomes easily established. If everything is based on karma, what should I pray to Master during bedtime? Last time when I was at a gathering, I saw a small child wearing thick lenses. I really felt sorry for that. I thought I can pray to Master for helping the child, but I am confused. The answer regarding the prayer, the commandment is clear that we repent for the wrongs done and seek forgiveness from God, and we should resolve not to repeat such lapses. You seem to entertain an idea that prayer means asking something from God. If you read our prayer, you will understand that we only seek oneness with Him. Articles on prayer are there in our books, and you may read them when time permits. It is true that law of karma always operates. Master is clear on these matters as you can read from the commentary on Ten Commandments. Sometimes waking up between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. as if I have been woken up. In such cases, I am trying to get lost into the prayer on the bed to wait for the morning meditation time. When we get remembered of Master, we should ensure our physical and mental purity and then pray. My sadhana or Abhyas took a little sine curve over the past months. Due to my sloth, loss of viveka, and environmental pull, I missed some mornings, so the feeling of missing was very heavy on me. But there was this strange connection I felt with the Master even though I slipped in my Abhyas sometimes. Something like a child knows parents always love and he loves them even though he commits mistakes sometimes. There was this unshakable faith in bonding with him. I sought forgiveness for failing in my duty. Yes, environment, particularly when it is shared with near and dear ones, can cause such lapses. You are right that Master's love is always there, but that should not lead us a state of complacency. Every lapse needs to be placed before the Master during night prayer, and a strong determination has to be made that such lapses would not be allowed to happen. Any questions here? Uh, okay, fine. I'll move ahead. Individual settings. Uh, it is not very necessary to be concerned about the various conditions bestowed, but allow them to naturally seep into our consciousness. It is not very necessary to be concerned about the various conditions bestowed, but allow them to seep into our consciousness. This is done by our efforts to maintain the thought of the master as a goal of life as far as possible. Many times the condition is owned by us, but we do not become consciously aware also, but our behavior would reflect that condition. Once we have owned the condition through our behavior and attitudes, it becomes futile to try to consciously beware all the time. Expectancy of something new in every sitting or occasion of meditation is not good. Do not try to evaluate every sitting or occasion, but arrive at a picture over a period of time, as transformation is by only small increments only, even as in any other form of growth. Clarifications on individual sittings. Question: couldn't take individual in absentia sittings for more than half of the month, as my trainer was out of the country. And the answer is, please do sit on the days when appointment is given and seek help from the master. You will get such help as is necessary. In today's sitting had a lot of churning feeling in the head. It is like mixing of cement and sand in a mixer. No reeling sensation as earlier. Immense feeling of absorption in a different manner. I pray to Babuji to enable me to sense exactly the real things that happen to me. Something else is to be followed by me practically. I could not catch it. What it could be. Transmission works in many ways, and all of them are not clearly understood, except that cleaning happens always most of the time. Further, in the field of life, there is no reason to insist that everything should be understood at the rational levels. Most of our problems are either at the irrational level or at the supra-rational levels. What we should note is whether the condition makes us feel lighter, not physically. Any questions so far? Okay. I am feeling vibrations throughout the body, few times during meditations and sometimes during the day. This is one of the initial benefits from following the system, and our being gets tuned to the vibrations, and finally, all cells get transformed to discharge divine duties. During the individual sittings, had thoughts for higher aspirations. I feel connected. I should yield more to the master. Higher conditions and your deservancy cannot and should not be ideas entertained during individual sittings, or for that matter, during any meditation. We should place ourselves in the hands of the master and accept whatever condition is bestowed. Expectancy can be very detrimental to progress. I always feel like continuing meditation for some more time after that's all instruction is given. Your feeling that the meditation may continue for some more time is shared by many others who practice pranavati aided meditation. The trainer knows his work. You may kindly note the feelings during all meditations in the diary to improve sensitivity. During the end of the sitting, felt a prolonged silence. It lasted for a longer time. That is, even after I got out of the sitting. This is all I can put in words. Regarding the silence, you are feeling the presence of the divine. That is how the divine communicates with us. Shruti, as people call it. If you try to see what the silence is, it will run away from us. On one occasion, felt jugs. Jugs we do feel as effects of pranahuti that passes through the system, cleaning whatever blocks might be there. Jerks are common in our sadhana, and they are indicative of the loosening of the knots which are too many to count. After sittings, I became more oriented towards the divine. This attitude is really the one we should continue to have for achieving our goal faster. During a sitting, had intense feeling of surrender and service with deep silence within. One sitting, I felt as if I was lifted much higher above fifth knot. It would be better to identify the state by the feelings rather than the number 5. The various knots have many characteristics and have to be owned up to some measure. All the states and each person does it according to the samskaras he has. Increased lightness, feel expansion sometimes. Expansion of consciousness arises only when the boundary of the body is crossed, and that shows we are moving into the realm of selflessness. That is the way we grow into Brahman over a period of time. We are in a place where there is no trainer nor Abhyasis. So, our previous trainer advised both of us to do point A very seriously. To the maximum, we are following it. Meditations on point A and B are a must. However, this cannot do what Pranahati can do. Satsangs. Satsangs are very important as they help us progress faster in sadhana due to intense transmissions. And also, it develops in us a good deal of patience, tolerance, and fraternity. Clarifications on satsang. On one day, felt pressure on the heart, and on another day, felt vibrations on the left hand. On another day, the vibrations in the heart region started during the sitting, continued even after the sitting was over. I do not understand your statement pressure on the heart. To feel vibrations is all right. To feel jerks is all right. To feel rocking is all right. But to feel pressure is unusual. Please check up with your physician. Also, see whether you had heavy food before the meditation. Note whether this is due to gas in the stomach. During one satsang, initially I felt very light and calm towards end and I felt expansion. During that time I was floating in the sky. White light was felt and somebody was sitting besides it. And later I was floating in water. These relate to the internal feelings that you are moving in unknown terrains. Do not give much importance to them. Some people are feeling the flow during the satsangs. I don't know what they mean, but I am not. Why is this? Comparison with other abhyasis is all right, but that should not make us evaluate that we are not as better as the others. The nature of divinity is justice and everyone gets what is due. This is a basic tenet that should always be remembered. Not only in meditation, this attitude develops in us fortitude and forbearance in our behavior. These two attitudes are considered as most important in life by persons of wisdom. Why I am not feeling the vibrations, why I am not feeling the buzz sound, which I used to feel. Sometimes I feel it, but not every time. Feeling of pranavati is through many ways. Please do read the chapters on transmission in the complete works of Dr. K.C. Vardachari, Volume 1. Also, the various experiences of the Abhyasis reported as case studies in the centenary volume of Satyapadamu would be very useful study. Do also read the article on pranavati in our site. 10 commandments. Following the commandments should be always perfect, and then only we can say we are following the system. There is need for commitment to realize oneself. Without that, precious little can be achieved in sadhana. It is for you to gird up your loins, as Master said. Let the commandments of the Master be the guiding principles of your life. Then you become lovable to the Master, and love from him flows even as we desire. The book Practice and Efficacy of Raja Yoga may be a useful study to understand the importance of following the commandments of the Master. Clarifications on commandments. Insincerity in following the commandments is still there. It is not amusing that we tend to neglect his commandments, though we feel his blessings. Evaluation. Assessment of an Abhyasi cannot be considered as condemning him to that condition only. We should assess and then work for the betterment. I think the idea that we can know the spiritual condition of the other person just like that is wrong. Everyone has his karma and is bound by it. And unless they reveal or open up themselves by trusting the other person, their condition, no one, I presume, can read others' condition. Reverend Babuji stressed the need for the regular writing of the diaries. Self evaluation. In evaluation, you must not be too critical about yourself and your efforts. Be fair to yourself, and you will find that in fact you are doing better than you think. The commandments enable us to develop proper attitudes in life, leading to a balanced living. So keep a vigil about your following the commandments. Of course, these commandments, of course, these follow as we progress in spirituality. Diary writing increases our sensitivity to the various feelings. Feelings are the language of divinity. It is necessary that we develop proficiency in the language. Writing diary, I found recently, enhances our vocabulary of feelings. Practice should lead to progress, and this can be evaluated with reference to the Ten Commandments. I am of course disappointed. I am of course disappointed. Sadhaka tend to evaluate with reference to abstract notions of Vedanta and what they consider as Vedanta and yoga, and not in practical terms. That way, the master's desires cannot be fulfilled. The condition experienced in meditation and dreams is not what we feel in our day to day life. This most of the time we ignore, saying that they belong to different realms and continue to be satisfied or try to be satisfied by such rationalizations. But the fact is that unless the external and internal are the same to most extent, we cannot claim to have reached any high spiritual condition. Though we are fully aware of this, we try to fool ourselves with all sorts of explanations and logics that seem to satisfy us for the moment. You want to read with other?
Clarifications on self-evaluation. Was not feeling much progress, so didn't send the report. Many times changes that occur in us are not visible, even as we do not see the growth of the plant every day. But always there is progress in our condition. We should maintain our diary and note the apparently insignificant changes also. How to know the condition? The thoughts after meditation generally give us a clue of the condition of the aspirant. Do not try to note the thoughts as they occur in you. Be unmindful of them. Can I judge my progress? I am feeling calmness all through, but is that all? I don't have any expectations. The linkage between the commandments and the progress in the path is suggested in the book Practice and Efficacy of Raj Yoga. You can evaluate yourself by studying the book Path of Grace also. Your trainer also can help you by examining your diary and giving sittings. Take the help of another brother. Taking the help of another brother is the essence of this system of PAM. How do I ensure that I am not doing the sadhana ritualistically? How do we know we are sincere? We know it in our hearts. This should answer whether you are practicing sincerely or ritualistically. Ritualistic practice is for the sake of others. We should evaluate ourselves in our sadhana regularly, and that is done by seeing for ourselves how well we are practicing the 10 commandments. Sadhana. It is to be a steady practice all the time, keeping in view our own worthiness and trying to improve the same. Thorough grasp of the subject or means of sadhana cannot be simply reading occasionally the books of masters, ISRC, and more importantly, getting spoiled in understanding due to study/reading of extraneous books, and firm faith in the master as the only means of deliverance from the cycle of births. Regularity is the crux of sadhana, and then only we will be in tune with nature. I request you to kindly keep your restlessness to reach the goal constant. Our efforts to practice or do sadhana, it might not be proper to seek help of the master as effort we must do ourselves. The results are a different question, which is decided by him only. Surrender does not and shall not mean surrender of efforts. When we know our lapses, we put in our renewed efforts more vigorously, and that stands well in our sadhana. Studies are very important, and sadhana is to be done without affecting studies, so long as we are in college / school. The control of sensuousness is not something that can be achieved without pranahati and the meditation on points A and B, and more than anything else, His grace is required. Awareness of one's own smallness while looking at the sky is enough reason to progress in sadhana. For a man who is very busy, there is always time to meditate and do sadhana. It is not want of time, but only our sloth that does not permit us to attend to our spiritual needs. But please note that one has to learn to be grateful to Master for the moments of nothingness and void that is granted to us during meditation. That is the intimation of the divine, that He is with us. On this only sadhana should revolve. Irrevocable determination is the only way to progress in the path. Master is ever willing to help us, but that cannot and should not be the reason for taking sadhana easy. It is necessary that sadhana has to be assiduously practiced. That does not mean we should always be doing the same. Balanced life is the goal of life. All our spiritual and material efforts should be such as to assist us in reaching that condition. It is good you feel peaceful and calm during meditation. This alone is the main motivating factor in sadhana. Master used to tell me that women have a lot of responsibilities, and it may not be possible for them to do sadhana strictly as prescribed, but they should always remember Him in everything they do and think. I feel that sadhana is not for knowledge, but for wisdom to live in total harmony with nature, of which we are but a part. Discrimination to study and learn is required in sadhana, and it is not necessary to spoon feed every aspect. After coming back from Hyderabad, I had slipped in my sadhana a little bit, but I am not sure how it happened, but it did. After an, after an intense exposure to spiritual environment, spiritual atmosphere, it generally happens we tend to take some less interest in sadhana. This was our experience whenever we went to master slash basan celebrations, etc., and came back. So there is nothing special for you to worry about. Any questions? These are actually practical points. Whatever struggle we have in sadhana, Sir has addressed. Okay, we'll stop here.